Hi, I'm Julie Falgout. I work with LSU Sea Grant College Program, and I'm an extension assistant. I have been with Sea Grant since the beginning of this year. Before that, I was with LSU AgCenter, Department of Food Science. My husband and I own fishing vessels for about 30 years. I married into a fishing family. We own 4 offshore 90-foot trawlers, freezer boats at one time. We've had a 70-foot ice boat, a 50-footer. We had a couple of 32-foot Lafitte skiffs, inshore vessels. So I've been very involved with the shrimp industry since about the middle of the 70s. Around the 80s, I got involved with the regulatory side and the political side of the industry, especially fighting for the TEDS issues, the birds issue, anti-dumping and stuff, and in a lot of times fighting the people that I'm now colleagues with and now work for. And so I've got a background that ranges from the educational side to the actual aspect of what happens in the water, and on the other side of what happens on the side of how the issues are come about and are portrayed and are dealt with to come up with the rules and the regulations that the fishermen and the industry has to follow. I went to work in 2006 at LSU in the Department of Food Science with Dr. John Bell, who was working on a the beginning of developing a quality assurance program for the Louisiana shrimp industry, helping him develop background handling practices and the handouts and different aspects of things that would go along with that program. I stayed there for a little over 3 years, and then recently I transferred to Sea Grant and actually working directly with the fisheries, communicating between fishermen, education, regulatory, trying to bring another side of the puzzle in the decision making and the educational side for what we need to help the fishermen survive, especially now that we're going to get back on track with developing a certification program. We're working on a gear improvement program also for fishermen, and there's some different other things that are coming out educational-wise and looking at what the fishing industry needs to help them survive and to get over these tough times that they've seen since everything from beginning around 2000 with the influx of cheap imports to the hurricanes that they've had to survive, and now the oil spill. And so just trying to bring another piece of the puzzle, helping people to understand what they're going through and helping the fishermen understand how rules and regulations are being made and how programs are going to work for them. Now, currently, since the oil spill happened, I have been working as a Sea Grant liaison at the Unified Command or Incident Command Post in Houma. And one of the things that I'm finding on a daily basis, I'm explaining to regulatory people or whether it's people that are actually part of BP, is fisheries 101 and how our fisheries operate. There's a huge gap in the understanding of, for instance, our seasons, what boats can fish where, and how the oil and the openings and the closings have affected people and affected the areas they can fish. For instance, I had an official, an oil field official one day say, well, they opened a third of the Gulf, the fishermen can go fish, and I had to explain to them, well, no, that doesn't help our Louisiana fishermen because this was over in the east where our inshore fishermen do not go. And so trying to get people to understand the effect of the different closings and what it's had on the ability for fishermen to get out and actually be productive in catching their product, especially the offshore EEZ area. A lot of these large boats, they fish the different areas, like say from Vermilion, Cameron, you have a lot of large boats that when the season opens in the east, they will fish offshore the east and then move westward as the product moves west. And there has been a lot of misunderstanding why it would affect people that haven't had oil come inshore into their parish. Why would they be affected by a closing? And so it's been a lot of trying to help people to understand each side, how decisions are made and how these decisions are affecting the people on the ground and the people that these things are relative to. And the thing I have to say is that the main thing we have going for us is that we're Louisiana. we've been through a lot. We've been through hurricanes. And the fishing industry's been through regulatory fights and different things. And we survive. We're very resilient, and we're going to survive this too. It's just kind of difficult sometimes for people to understand how many times we have to prove that we can survive. But I chose to move back here because this is my home, and this is the industry that I love, and I just believe that we have something worth fighting for. We're definitely worth fighting for.